With my recent road trip up to New York and Pennsylvania to catch the waterfalls with some fall colors in my Subaru, and I camped out of the car for the entire trip, I figured what better time than right after I got back to make a video about camping out of my Subaru Impreza. So hopefully this encourages you to do up your little car if you've got enough room to lay down. I mean, this is just a standard Subaru Impreza hatchback. Fold the seats down, put a mattress pad in, and I'm good to go. I can park anywhere I want and I can just go to sleep. So for starters, you can see that I have a mattress pad in the back here, and when I lay the seats down, I get a full 6 feet. So it's a 3-inch memory foam, and it's a full-size mattress pad, and I have it folded over for when it's just me by myself, and I can lay it all the way back. Underneath the seats, I have a little piece of wood with a 1x on the back of it to level out the sleeping area to be completely flat. I've got my sleeping bags and my blankets. In the corner, I've got enough space in the cubby for some water. And on the other side, I've got room for my clothes, some of my stuff, my accessories, my chargers, more water. I even have in the corner built up a little cubby above the seatbelt holder because I felt like it was a wasted space. And in that little cubby, I can put, like toothbrush, toothpaste, keys, glasses, stuff like that. Even my phone when I'm camping in the car when I'm sleeping, just so it's out of the way and I don't have to worry about trying to find it in the morning. I will probably do the same thing on the other side at some point. I just haven't gotten that far yet. As far as building the sleeping platform up, you can see I've got a full-size Coleman cooler here. I've got some blankets underneath it to raise it up to the level of the seats. And it also aids as a food storage, being extra insulated on the bottom and on the top by the mattress pad. It helps keep stuff cold a lot longer than it otherwise would. And having that there allows me to extend the sleeping platform all the way back while keeping it perfectly level. As far as window shades, I've got some multi-layered black fabric that I have put in. Right now, this one is just held in by magnets across the top. Not very well, but it was good enough for this trip, and I can open and close the door without it coming off. So that was the objective for at least for this trip. I think I'm going to try to get some better fabric. This was just some scraps that I had, and get a magnetic strip sewn into the edge so that I can just lay it up and it will be sealed all the way around here, as compared to having the holes in the sides where light can come through. And sometimes if a street light is in the wrong place at the wrong time, it can make a big difference. So on this side, I had, last year when I went to Texas in this, that was sticky, I had spent a little bit of time and I put some velcro pads up inside the edge of the door frame so that it was wrapping around and covering those gaps. Only problem is I have to open the door in order to get those in. I cannot get that window shade in without opening the door. So it defeats the purpose of parking someplace, not having to get out, putting my window shades in place, and then sleeping for the night super stealth. So when it's just me out on a trip by myself, I have learned that I can essentially get myself a mudroom by leaving the driver's side seat up and keeping that floor space clear, so that when I get into it, I can change my shoes if I have muddy shoes and leave them down here, so that I don't have to worry about the whole rest of my sleeping area or my bed or anything else in the back getting dirty or whatnot. That is, if I'm getting in and out of the side. I can usually just manage to leave my stuff up in front, take my shoes off in the front seat, and then just slide my way into the back and do it that way. So I will show you how that whole process works and the process of getting my shades in place and how dark it can be once everything is in here. So say, for example, I just pulled in and I parked and I'm ready to sleep for the night. I will just go ahead and take my shoes off here in the front seat if I don't have them off already for driving, and I just climb right up in the back. And just like that, I am in the back of the car, ready to go. Presuming I need to change into something to sleep in or get some stuff situated. Otherwise, it's a pretty quick, simple process. So let me get my window shades in place here, and we'll see just how dark this gets. So let me show you real quick what I use for the front cover and how I get that in place. So I've got a long stretch of that fabric, and I will just run it across these two bungees I've got between the handles. Drape it in front of the headrests. And then I've got some Velcro on the wing to attach to that pillar. It's not the best, but it does the trick. This side I don't have Velcroed yet because I didn't have a need for it at the moment, so I'll just loop that around that side. And here is the side window real quick. I'll find the top. There we go. Now I'll just attach that to these Velcro spots around the edge, and then close the door. Now the back window gets a little bit more awkward just because of the angle that it's at. But if I just lay this down, start attaching it, and I want to do a more reliable, consistent method for the Velcro on this as well, because it does also leave a bunch of gaps, especially up here in these corners. And it puts quite a bit of strain on a couple pieces of Velcro to hold the weight while I'm getting the rest of it done. Like these ones in the top are definitely taking a lot more weight than they probably should be taking. But I can get these side flaps a little bit more secured, maybe get some strips of Velcro around the edges and built into that fabric. So as you can tell, it's getting pretty dark. I'm gonna close this door and we'll see how much darker it got. So that's about how dark it gets in here during the middle of the day. So you can imagine that at night this is going to stay pretty dark, other than a couple of holes where I have not blocked that light yet. That's on the plan. Maybe just to get a little panel just to block this out permanently, because I don't really need to see through this. And it's getting stuffy in here. So I took a couple of photos on my last trip from outside the vehicle with my headlamp and the dome light turned on inside, and you can see that there is not much light visible from outside the vehicle, which is definitely a plus. It's going to be better once I get the rest of these shades finished in a more permanent fashion. So then when it comes morning and I'm ready to pack up and get going, all I gotta do is pop my doors open. If I don't feel like leaving this in place, pull the Velcro, pop that back in a cubby, pull the Velcro, unstrap, hang it back up in the corner, pull all the magnets if I want to get to that, and then I just pull all this Velcro and then I'm good to get back on the road and start driving. So as you can see, I can almost sit up comfortably in here. Not quite fully sit up. I've taken this on a couple of road trips. I've been to 18 or 19 states with it so far. And I've been on several trips where I camped out of this most of, if not the entire trip. So it's a pretty good road trip vehicle, and you don't need a full-size vehicle to really car camp. You just have to figure out what you need and what you can fit in the space that you've got to work with. So I hope you enjoyed this video and it gave you some ideas on how you can get your car set up for camping on road trips that you might want to go on. Thanks for watching. And then after I've got all my shades down and I'm ready to get back in the driver's seat, I just pop back through. And I'm good to go. Start my car and start driving. Funny story, just as I was wrapping that video up and starting my car, the local park ranger drove right past me. So that could have been awkward.